Louisiana Governor John Bel Edwards, a Democrat, is hoping a three-judge panel will reinstate his executive order banning discrimination in government and state contracts based on sexual orientation and gender identity. The state's Republican Attorney General Jeff Landry challenged the order, saying it was executive overreach, unconstitutional, and tried to circumvent state lawmakers. Last year, a district court judge ruled that the Edwards order violated Louisiana's constitutional separation of powers and blocked its enforcement. Tanya J. Powers, Fox News.
class this week, today or yesterday, they got to ensure their students, because the kids are watching all this play out on the news as well, ensure everybody that racism and hatred like every teacher should start class this week, today or yesterday. They got to ensure their students, because the kids are watching all this play out on the news as well, ensure everybody that racism and hatred like that violate the most fundamental principles of this great nation that we live in.
And 710 KEEL, KEEL, Shreveport. The KEEL Morning Show with Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. Breaking news and trending talk on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
Good morning, 6 o'clock. 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Robert and Erin. Erin and local news. She looks ready.
Some local hospitals on alert today. We'll tell you why. CenturyLink wants to borrow money for an upgrade. We'll have that too. And the ACLU says you can't be charged for flying the finger.
But what if I told you I found an ACLU? An article where the ACLU defended the Nazis and their right to march and defended them in court. Think they'd do that today? Well, they did just a few years ago. Plus, Fletcher has sports, traffic, and weather, and it's all here this hour, right here on KEEL.
KEEL Morning Report. Now on 1017 FM and 710 KEEL.
Some local hospitals are on alert today after a suspicious woman tried to enter two different maternity wards. KTBS reports a flyer was sent to Shreveport-Bossier area maternity wards asking employees to be on the alert. The woman told Willis Knight and staff in Bossier she was 37 weeks pregnant and wanted a tour, but employees apparently got suspicious after she asked questions regarding doctors and hospital policies. CenturyLink Center wants to borrow money for an upgrade. Matt Parker with that.
The Bossier City Council is looking to borrow $10 million to upgrade the CenturyLink Center. Back in July, the council voted to add a $3 fee to each ticket sold at the venue. The council says the money generated by the fee increase will go towards paying back $1 million loan. The money would go towards upgrading things like seating. The council is expected to approve the bond at their next meeting. From 1017 FM and 710 KEEL, I'm Matt Parker.
5 arrested on drugs and weapons charges in Marshall, Texas. The arrest followed a drug raid. The SWAT team raided a home on East Fannin Street. After searching that home, police discovered several guns and large quantities of drugs. Bessie meets behind closed doors to discuss the job status of Education Superintendent John White. Board member Kathy Edmonston of Gonzales says she would like the entire panel to vote whether or not White should stay. White appeared on Talk Louisiana to talk about the coming meeting.
I welcome any discussion of my status, any review of our results, and I'm looking forward to my evaluation.
Controversial education plan gets approved despite objections from Governor Edwards and other lawmakers. Louisiana has gotten federal approval of its redesigned education policy. The ACLU of Louisiana has sent a letter to State Police Superintendent Colonel Kevin Reeves after a man was given a ticket for flipping off a state trooper on I-20 near Rayville. Executive Director Marjorie Essman says the man was charged with felony public intimidation.
Somebody was driving and he flipped off the trooper and he was stopped and given a ticket and charged with basically like trying to incite a riot. And of course he wasn't, and he wasn't doing anything harmful.
Essman urges law enforcement agencies everywhere to make sure officers understand the full scope of the First Amendment. Mourners gathering in Charlottesville, Virginia, to honor the woman who was killed when a car rammed into a crowd of people protesting a white nationalist rally. A memorial service for Heather Heyer is scheduled for this morning at a downtown Charlottesville theater. Congressman Mike Johnson says he wants to get a message to all of our residents.
Every teacher should start class this week, today or yesterday. They got to ensure their students, because the kids are watching all this play out on the news as well. Ensure everybody that racism and hatred like that violate the most fundamental principles of this great nation that we live in.
2 people dead following a double homicide in Ruston. Lincoln Parish deputies were called to a home by the alleged shooter, John Nichols. Deputies found Anthony and Rachel Denicola suffering from several gunshot wounds. The Denicolas were renters in Nichols' home. Police say Nichols shot the couple following allegations that he made inappropriate comments to their juvenile daughter. Crews say they've safely removed a 3-foot alligator that was found in a swimming pool at a motel at the Jersey Shore. The wayward gator was discovered at the Bayview Inn and Suites. Authorities say it's not clear where that gator came from or how it got into the pool. Partly cloudy today, high near 95 degrees, right now 75. I'm Erin McCarty on 1017 FM and 710 KEEL.
Nine past 6 o'clock, 1017 FM, 710 KEEL. Traffic time. Ruben's ready.
Major power outage on East Bergtoons Industrial Loop has traffic lights out temporarily. Please use caution when driving in that area. And look out later on this morning for some traffic delays on I-20 westbound near Spring and Market. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Partly sunny with a high of 93 today. Clear to partly cloudy, low 78 tonight. Clouds and sun with an afternoon thunderstorm tomorrow. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm Heather Zayer.
I guess the point is, be careful when you start an inquisition, because eventually the inquisition, eventually the purge will come to you. 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. Okay, so I'm walking in the door of the studio about 15 or 20 minutes ago as you're walking out.
Yeah.
And evidently you and Matt were talking about something that is Charlottesville and or Confederate monument related. You have seen the latest, by the way.
Yes,
arrests. No. Well, in Durham, you mean? We'll get to that in a second. That, the latest Antifa, Occupy, Black Lives Matter demand is that Stone Mountain in Atlanta come down, be blown up.
Oh, my.
Not oh, my.
Stone Mountain.
You know where the carving of the Confederate soldiers? Yes.
Been there.
That has to go. Be careful when you start an inquisition. Look, when this whole downtown Confederate monument controversy started X number of months ago, and we had NAACP guy Lloyd Thompson on, and I said to Mr. Lloyd, and we talk about it all the time, it's one of the greatest lines of all time in the history of our history on KEEL. When I pointed out to Lloyd, there are two streets downtown, Travis and Fannin. You've heard me use this example 1,000 times. Two streets downtown Shreveport, Travis and Fannin, Alamo heroes, as are a number of downtown Shreveport streets. Travis and Fannin owned slaves. Are we going to demand, are others going to demand that those street names be changed? And what are they going to do if they don't? And Mr. Lloyd said, here's his quote. Remember what he said?
I remember. I don't have the exact quote, but I remember.
I ain't mad about that yet.
We should call him today.
Ain't mad about that yet.
I should get him on the phone.
Or replay Stephen Jackson saying, this is not a priority.
Yeah.
To me. Arrests in Durham, North Carolina. And it's interesting because if you read or heard the explanation of the Durham, I don't know what county it is. Maybe it's Durham County. I don't know. But the sheriff who was charged with protecting that I would think he was charged with protecting the monument. When the mob showed up, let's call them vandals. And interesting, by the way.
They're vandals.
That's interesting you say that, because on one of the three, and I apologize, I don't remember which one, but on one of our local TV station websites yesterday, They had on their site a story about Durham, and they had on their site a story about the Holocaust defamation in Baltimore, the Holocaust Memorial defamation in Baltimore.
Right.
On the story about Durham, protesters topple Confederate monument in Durham. On the Baltimore story, vandals deface Holocaust Memorial in Baltimore. So on one hand, believe me, I don't mean to imply they wrote their
vandals
story.
or protesters?
Which is it?
They're both vandals.
Okay. So, back to Durham, North Carolina, where vandals toppled the Confederate monument on, Monday night. And the sheriff yesterday, because they made no arrests, the sheriff's people literally stood by and watched it happen. And at his press conference yesterday, he said the reason they didn't do anything was because in a confrontation, there could have been violence. And violence, people could have gotten hurt. And that was his explanation for not protecting property. And I'm thinking, wait a second, you're the police. Isn't your job? And he made himself sound so noble. We kept the situation from escalating. Imagine how bad it could have gotten if police had stood up to vandals who are destroying public property. And I was reminded of, speaking of Baltimore, the former Baltimore mayor, Stephanie Rawlings Blake? Stephanie Blake Rawlings, who literally during the riots a few years ago had the police stand down. Hold on. Where's my phone? I've got it. I did a screenshot on my phone, so bear with me 10 seconds here, okay? Because it's the most amazing, most unbelievable, literally unbelievable explanation of not having the police act you'll ever see. With her city spiraling out of control, Baltimore mayor, and this is basically just an expanded version of what the Durham sheriff said. Mm-hmm. With her city rioting and spiraling out of control, Baltimore Mayor Stephanie Rawlings Blake has two problems. This is meaning then. Quelling the violence and clarifying a controversial comment she made over the weekend. Here's what she said. I made it very clear that I work with the police and have instructed them to do everything they could do to make sure that the protesters were able to exercise their right of free speech. It's a very delicate balance. Here's what she said. It's a very delicate balancing act because while we try to make sure the protesters are protected from cars and other things that are going on, we also gave those who wish to destroy space to do that as well. And we work very hard. What she said. We work with people who want to destroy things. Remember, she said, we have to give them the room, the space. They have the right to let off steam and to destroy private property.
Golly.
So the question I asked you yesterday, and this is going to be obviously the thread of the show all morning long. If later today, if 150 Antifa, Black Lives Matter, Occupy protesters show up at Jackson Square in New Orleans with hammers,
tie a rope,
and chainsaws, and spray paint, and begin to damage, deface, spray paint.
You gotta stop them.
The Jackson Monument. Not do you gotta stop them. Do you think that Mayor Mitch Landrieu is going to turn the police on those people?
I think he would.
I guarantee you he would not. Do you not think for a second that the possibility that the police in Durham, North Carolina were told to stand down by a Democrat mayor or a Democrat governor? And
Probably not.
And that this guy's just covering his ass?
That could be it too.
19 past 6 o'clock, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Traffic update coming up right now. For Wednesday morning, here's Ruben.
Still dealing with that major power outage on East Coons Industrial Loop. The traffic lights are still out. Use caution in that area. And look out later on this morning for some traffic delays on Airline Drive just north of East Texas Street in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Partly sunny with a high of 93 today. Clear to partly cloudy, low 78 tonight. Clouds and sun with an afternoon thunderstorm tomorrow. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm Heather Zayer.
.1017 FM and 710 Keel. Time for sports. Here's Fletch.
Good morning from the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger. This is Tim Fletcher on Tuesday. Philip Barbary Jr., Sam Burns, and Nathan Johnson, the trio of elite golfers hailing from Shreveport, all advance into the match play portion of the U.S. Amateur in Los Angeles. Barbary finished the 36-hole stroke play portion of the event at 2 under par and will be the 11th seed in the 64-man field of match play that gets underway today. Burns, who is set to turn pro in September, finished even par in his 2 rounds and will be the number 23 seed. Johnson shot a 69 Tuesday to ease into match play as the number 40 seed. The Houston Astros bats finally came alive at a 9-4 win over Arizona. The Astros blew the game open with a 5-run second inning. George Springer had a 2-out, 2-run double. Was driven in by Alex Bregman's triple, and he scored on a pass ball. The Texas Rangers clubbed Detroit 10-4, hitting 3 home runs, including Joey Gallo, who now has 9 home runs this month, the most in the American League, and the 23-year-old slugger has 34 already this season. Mike Napoli followed Gallo's 459-foot blast in the 4th inning with a homer of his own, and Robinson Chirinos also dialed long distance for the Rangers. From the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger, this is Tim Fletcher.
There may be an opportunity to
frame on the commission.
This is not the highest priority on my radar. Folks are being shot. This is not the highest priority on my radar. Folks are being shot. This is not the highest priority on my radar. Folks are being shot. Folks are here. That's where I'm at. And I have yet to meet a industry that says, that statue is an issue for us, and we don't, tell us about this monument. They want to know about our schools. They want to know about our quality of life. They want to know about our infrastructure. And so while I say it's an important social issue, it does have its social, and I don't want to diminish its social aspects, not one bit. But should this be the clarion call of the day? We got.
I'm just kind of looking here. I've got the Wikipedia, 1017 FM, 710 Keel, Robert J. Wright, and Erin McCarty, the Wikipedia page for Henry Miller Shreve. I knew he was a Quaker, so he probably didn't own slaves. But I'm looking to see if anyone ever rode on his boat who owned a slave. He was involved, let me see, after the Battle of New Orleans. Yeah, okay, so he was maybe circuitously associated with Andrew Jackson, who, as we know, is a horrible human being and must be purged from cultural consciousness. So look, like I said to start the segment, once you start an inquisition, be careful, because you don't know where. You asked, I was walking out the door, and you asked Matt a very interesting question.
Well, this is going to happen next. Here's what's coming.
Go ahead.
Baton Rouge has a school called Robert E. Lee High School. Everyone knows it as Lee High.
Right.
There are several Lee Highs in the country, probably across the South. What happens when a family that is offended by that name of that school,
Right.
but lives in that district, says, I do not want my child to go to Robert E. Lee High School.
What if
You have to send him somewhere else.
Yeah, well,
You have the responsibility of educating my child, but
Once-
not
you're
at a
right.
school with that racist name.
once you start the Inquisition, where do we stop? Would you demand that Travis and Fannin Streets downtown be changed?
No.
But they own slaves.
No, would you?
But you and I aren't
You're
the
not
ones.
answering.
You
Well,
and
you
I,
asked me.
No, I would not. No.
Exactly.
Okay.
Oh, I wouldn't.
But if a black person of good conscience demanded if 150 people marched downtown today, blocking Travis and Fannin Streets, saying that these names of these
slave owners,
hideous slave owners, be changed, would you see their point, or would you say, okay, now the Inquisition's gone too far? What if it's Washington? Like, for example, in Virginia, Washington and Lee University, named for George Washington and Robert E. Lee. University of Washington State
yes,
is named for George Washington.
do we take George off of our money?
Do you know what the word Oklahoma? I think, and I apologize if I have my Native American tribe wrong. Do you know what? I think it's Pawnee. It may be Cherokee. Do you know what the word Oklahoma means, literally translated?
No, I don't.
Red people.
Oh.
How incredibly politically incorrect is that?
Well, Baton Rouge means red stick.
But that's not people, okay?
It might offend some people.
So, back to my initial point. When you start the Inquisition, when you start the purge, where do you stop? Because you can justify one to the next, to the next, to the next. We can do this all day until, your country is wrong. Your country is evil. Your country, and if you don't think for an instant that the people who are Antifa, Occupy, Black Lives Matter, if you don't think that their ultimate goal is to destroy, to brand the United States as illegitimate, ill-founded, racist, hegemonistic, horrible, an illegitimately founded country, that is their ultimate goal, chip by chip by chip. I found an article last night we'll get to a little bit later. And it's called, in fact, I have it right here, Remember yesterday morning I made a quick reference to the Nazis marching in Skokie, and I said 1974. I apologize, it was 1977. In 1977, a group of Nazis wanted to march in Skokie, Illinois. Skokie, Illinois, just outside of Chicago, 70,000 people, 40,000 people, give or take, Jewish. They wanted to march in Skokie, Illinois. Why do you think they wanted to do that? To hurt people, because they're really, really, really lousy guys. And you know who defended their right to march in Skokie?
Who?
The ACLU. You know why?
Why?
Because everybody gets free speech.
Oh, my. Goodness.
Don't they? Doesn't everybody get free speech?
Everybody should have free speech.
Okay,
yep.
so when the Nazis wanted to march in Skokie and the ACLU went to court in their defense against the city of Skokie, saying, if everybody doesn't get free speech, none of us get free speech. And when they were planning the march with the police all around, imagine for a second if in Charlottesville over the weekend, if the police in Charlottesville had said, you know what, the Nazis are marching. These are some pretty awful people, but on the other hand, we're the police, and it's our job. In fact, there's a quote in here I'll find in this Skokie article from the Huffington Post, a radically left-wing website. And the quote about defending everyone's liberty is absolutely amazing. And we'll get to that just a bit later. Got to go to break. Parky, 101.7 FM, 710 Keel, 629. Here's traffic. Here's Ruben.
Major power outage on East Berktoons Industrial Loop has traffic lights out temporarily. Please use caution when driving in that area. And look out later on this morning for some traffic delays on I-20 westbound near Spring and Market. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Partly sunny with a high of 93 today. Clear to partly cloudy, low 78 tonight. Clouds and sun with an afternoon thunderstorm tomorrow. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm Heather Zayer.
Affects everything.
The power of information. KEEL News now.
The Bossier City Council is looking to borrow $10 million to upgrade the CenturyLink Center. Back in July, the council voted to add a $3 fee to every ticket sold at the venue. The council says the money generated by the fee increase will go towards paying back the $10 million loan. The money would go towards upgrading things like seating. The council expected to approve the bond at their next meeting. Some local hospitals are on alert today after a suspicious woman tried to enter 2 different maternity wards. KTBS is reporting a flyer was sent to Shreveport-Bossier area maternity wards asking employees to be on the lookout. The woman told Willis Knight and staff in Bossier she was 37 weeks pregnant and wanted a tour. But employees got suspicious after she began asking questions regarding doctors and hospital policies. 5 arrested on drug and weapons charges in Marshall. Matt Parker has that.
Brian Davis, Lewis Talley, Cecilia Davis, Gerald Talley, and Willie Brown have been arrested following a drug raid in Marshall, Texas. The Marshall SWAT team raided a home in the 1300 block of East Fannin Street early Tuesday morning. After searching the residence, police discovered multiple guns and large quantities of drugs, including methamphetamine, ecstasy, cocaine, Xanax, and marijuana. The raid was a part of an ongoing narcotics investigation. From 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, I'm Matt Parker.
The ACLU of Louisiana has sent a letter to the state police superintendent after a man was given a ticket for flipping off a state trooper on I-20 near Rayville. Executive Director Marjorie Essman says as rude as it may be, giving someone the finger is a First Amendment right. She hopes the letter brings attention to the issue and directs state police in their training.
It's not violence. It's not hurting anybody. And we want the Louisiana State Police to get the word out that their officers have to respect that. They don't have to like it, but they have to respect it.
Essman says the trooper illegally issued a public intimidation ticket. Controversial education plan gets approved despite objections from Governor John Bel Edwards and other lawmakers. Louisiana has gotten federal approval of its redesigned education policy. Speaking of education, Bessie members meeting behind closed doors to talk about the job status of Education Superintendent John White. Board member Kathy Edmonston of Gonzales says she would like the panel to vote whether or not White should stay. Edmondson has had public disagreements with the superintendent, especially on White's support for Common Core. White says he welcomes an evaluation.
Bessie is a board of elected and to some extent appointed individuals. They're going to weigh in on my performance. I think they're going to do so honestly and with integrity. I'm going to keep working for them until they tell me not to.
President Donald Trump is defiantly blaming both sides for the weekend violence between white supremacists and counter-demonstrators in Virginia and rebuffing the widespread criticism of his handling of the emotionally charged protests. Trump spoke to reporters yesterday in the lobby of his Manhattan skyscraper. The fight over gay rights continues in Louisiana over the constitutionality of an order aimed at protecting LGBT rights in state government. Fox's Tanya J. Powers with that.
Louisiana Governor John Bel Edwards, a Democrat, is hoping a three-judge panel will reinstate his executive order banning discrimination in government and state contracts based on sexual orientation and gender identity. The state's Republican Attorney General Jeff Landry challenged the order, saying it was executive overreach, unconstitutional, and tried to circumvent state lawmakers. Last year, a district court judge ruled that the Edwards order violated Louisiana's constitutional separation of powers and blocked its enforcement. Tanya J. Powers, Fox News.
New Orleans has made the watch list for the world's biggest sporting event, but game day is a long way off, 9 years to be exact. The city is one of 44 being considered as one of 12 host sites for the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Partly cloudy today, the high temp near 95, right now 77. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
Good morning, 636. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. The KEEL app is a free download from Office Furniture Source. Okay, so I had made reference yesterday, I think in the 7 o'clock hour, to a Nazi march that took place in Skokie, Illinois in 1977. And how the police actually, during the march, had surrounded, well, later they marched in Chicago. We'll get to that later because it was a court thing. But the police literally surrounded and protected the marchers, which they did not do in Charlottesville this past weekend.
No.
Okay, so you said something right after we went to break about hate speech. And I said, speech is speech. You have to protect it. The Constitution protects all speech, whether you hate it or not. Who gets to decide what's hateful and what's not?
Well, you know, if you're a Nazi, you should kind of expect to get punched in the face. That's all I'm saying.
Third, the village of Skokie argued. This is from the Huffington Post article, a radically left website written in 2009 defending the ACLU's defense of the Nazis in 1977. Let me say that again. In 1977, when the Nazis wanted to march in a predominantly Jewish town, the ACLU defended their right to do it because they said it was their First Amendment right. The village, i.e. Skokie, argued that if the Nazis were permitted, imagine the leftist Huffington Post writing this article today about Charlottesville. What happened in the last 8 years where they would take the First Amendment and just say, oh, the hell with it. The village argued, meaning Skokie. This is from the 2009 article about Skokie in 77. The village argued that if the Nazis were permitted to march, there would be uncontrolled violence. But the court asked, is this a reason to suppress speech? Isn't the obligation, this is awesome, isn't the obligation of government to protect the speaker and to control and punish the lawbreakers, rather than to invite those who would silence the speech, though it may be hateful, to use threats of violence to achieve their ends. If the village of Skokie had won on this point, then Southern communities who wanted to prosecute civil rights marchers in Selma, Montgomery, Birmingham, etc., could do so equally on the plea that the demonstrations would trigger uncontrolled violence. More so, once government gives in to, this is incredible, more so, once government gives in to such threats of violence, like Antifa, threatening the marchers.
Yeah.
Once government gives in to threats of violence, and if the groups were reversed, if it was Antifa, Black Lives Matter, that had the permit to march, moreover, once government gives in to demonstrations that would trigger uncontrolled violence, I'm sorry, I skipped a line. Moreover, once government gives in to such threats of violence, it effectively invites a heckler's veto, empowering any group who wants to silence others to do so simply by threatening to violate the law. This is the Huffington Post.
Oh, don't you love that brag?
This is the Huffington Post, a leftist website.
Yeah.
In 2009, defending the ACLU, defending the Nazis. Do you think they'd write that in their pages today?
No, that wouldn't happen today.
639, 1017 FM, 710 Keel. Yes, we're going to talk Powerball next.
Woohoo, I got a deal for you.
And where you're going after you win and thumb your nose at all of us.
I'm shaking.
Don't flip that thing at a state trooper. Oh, traffic time. Here's Ruben.
Still dealing with that major power outage on East Berkcoons Industrial Loop. The traffic lights are still out. Use caution in that area. And look out later on this morning for some traffic delays on Airline Drive just north of East Texas Street in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Partly sunny with a high of 93 today. Clear to partly cloudy, low 78 tonight. Clouds and sun with an afternoon thunderstorm tomorrow. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm Heather Zayer.
.643, Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty, 1017 FM, 710 Keel. So is Wednesday night tonight. What's the jackpot tonight, Powerball?
$430 million.
What's
That's
the payout after that? What would it be?
$273 million in cash.
I could get by.
Got to take a third of that off for taxes. So you're going to take a check home for $200 million. That's after taxes.
Right.
So I have a deal for you. You know I have $1 million club.
Well, which would you do? You're still a relatively young woman. Would you take the annual or would you take the lump sum?
Oh, lump sum. I can earn way more than the state would ever earn with my money. Way more. Way more. You think I'd leave the state my money? Oh, hell no.
What's the annual payout?
I don't know. I don't know what that is.
It'll tell you what's the annual payout.
It doesn't say.
And
$430 million annuity, $273 million cash. That's all it
so
says.
you'd get X. What if you live to be 85 or 90?
I don't care. I want my money now.
Okay.
Any idiot takes the annuity. You crazy.
Okay, go
you
ahead.
Cray. So I have a deal for you.
This is cultural appropriation.
Yeah.
And I think that Antifa should be at our front gates.
Protesters should be out there. I know.
That's right.
This ticket is now, if you're listening to us, is now your ticket. Okay?
What?
This is now your ticket.
Wait, you bought?
I bought this out of my pocket. I'll charge Town Square back if I win. They're going to have to pay me back my $20. Excuse me, $10. I was doubling it because I like to get a profit. If my ticket wins, I'm going to share wins the big prize, not just a little prize.
$200 million.
If I win the $430 million jackpot.
After taxes, $200 million.
Yeah, I'm going to share with everybody who comments on our Facebook post about my ticket. You can get a picture of our numbers. It's on our website, on our Facebook page right now, talking about how you'd spend your winnings.
You know, pardon me just a second. I think you did
But
something.
we have to negotiate how much I'm going to give each of them.
Aye.
Because here's my deal.
Yeah.
I'm thinking 1,000 or 5,000 each. If 1,000 people comment and I've promised you 1,000, that's $1 million. Okay? If 1,000 people comment and I've promised you 5,000, that's $5 million. That's about as high as I'm willing to go.
You've done something similar to this before.
Yeah.
Where you actually posted a photo.
I have a photo of this very ticket.
Where you actually posted a photo of your ticket on social media.
Yep.
And I said at the time, okay, so what's to keep 100 other people from going out and playing those very same numbers? And so suddenly, instead of having one winner, let's say that your number wins. Let's say those are the winning numbers, you hold a winning ticket. But because you posted a photo of your numbers and 100 other people go out and play those numbers, suddenly instead of having one winner, you have 101 winners. And all of a sudden, you and 100 other people are splitting $200 million.
Well, we'll have to call Stephen Price then and get him to write a big check.
But then it's your fault.
Okay.
People can look on the...
If someone wants to go to a Powerball booth and hand scratch, because these are five numbers on this ticket.
Right.
You'd have to hand scratch each one of these.
Not arguing that.
That would be a lot of work.
I love that her defense is, well, I wouldn't put in that much effort. No one else will.
I'll never do that. These are the numbers I've been playing for 5 years. I just repeat the ticket. Check it, repeat it. Check it, repeat it. Check it, repeat it. Over and over. The ladies know me where I go get the ticket.
Bet they do.
I'm not going to say where.
Yeah, you want some?
Because I promised her something.
Want some Funyuns with that ticket?
Yeah. No, this is a 2-for-1 chocolate. But anyway, you have to comment on our Facebook post between now and 9 a.m.
Okay, so you put.
So you and I have to decide right now: is it going to be 1,000 per? Or is it going to be 5,000 per?
Not my ticket. You decide.
Okay, I'm going to go 5,000 because I'm generous.
As long as it doesn't come out of our end, we don't really care.
Yeah, you're like, give it all away. I am promising right now, raise my right hand. Oh, that's my left. Raise my right hand.
Well, look, if you can have a solar eclipse at night.
If you comment on our Facebook page between now and 9 a.m. and this ticket is the winning Powerball ticket of the big jackpot.
Any of those five
any
series
of those
numbers.
people
right.
who commented on our Facebook page between now and 9 will get $5,000 from me or Mr. Price.
Anyone listening right now, how is Mr. Price involved in this?
If there's 18 tickets with these exact numbers, I'm screwed.
Yeah, you have to give away more than you won. If anyone right now is going, quick, Billy, get on that website.
Comment.
And comment. Because it's a sure thing.
You can just say me. You can just write me.
Because it's Erin McCarty.
Yeah. You can just say, I want in on it. I want to win. I want part of your ticket.
My God.
Oh.
Well, let me end this
I'm
segment.
trying to figure out a way to make my ticket win. And I'm thinking all these people praying for us might help.
Let's wrap up this segment with a little bit of a promo.
Okay.
101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, the station with unlimited contests and promotions, How much did you spend on that ticket?
$10.
849. 649. It's 1017 FM, 710 Keel. There you go. Traffic update. Yo, Ruben, what you got, kid?
Still dealing with that major power outage on Eastburg Coons Industrial Loop. The traffic lights are still out. Use caution in that area. And look out later on this morning for some traffic delays on Airline Drive, just north of East Texas Street in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Partly sunny with a high of 93 today. Clear to partly cloudy, low 78 tonight. Clouds and sun with an afternoon thunderstorm tomorrow. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm Heather Zayer.
Right now, 75. It's 1017 FM, 710 Keel, 650. And it is time for Your Money Now. 75. It's 1017 FM, 710 Keel, 650. And it is time for Your Money Now.
I'm Rasa Kay with Your Money Now.
Good morning, 652. Time for sports on Keel. Here's Fletch.
Good morning from the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger. This is Tim Fletcher. On Tuesday, Philip Barbary Jr., Sam Burns, and Nathan Johnson, the trio of elite golfers hailing from Shreveport, all advance into the match play portion of the U.S. Amateur in Los Angeles. Barbary finished the 36-hole stroke play portion of the event at 2 under par and will be the 11th seed in the 64-man field of match play that gets underway today. Burns, who is set to turn pro in September, finished even par in his 2 rounds and will be the number 23 seed. Johnson shot a 69 Tuesday to ease into match play as the number 40 seed. The Houston Astros bats finally came alive at a 9-4 win over Arizona. The Astros blew the game open with a 5-run second inning. George Springer had a 2-out, 2-run double. Was driven in by Alex Bregman's triple, and he scored on a pass ball. The Texas Rangers clubbed Detroit 10-4, hitting 3 home runs, including Joey Gallo, who now has 9 home runs this month, the most in the American League, and the 23-year-old slugger has 34 already this season. Mike Napoli followed Gallo's 459-foot blast in the 4th inning with a homer of his own, and Robinson Chirinos also dialed long distance for the Rangers. From the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger, this is Tim Fletcher.
I'm excited.
6:55, it's 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. Shreveport Security Systems text line is 318-392-1884.
Oh, man. A lot of people want in on our Powerball winnings. Thank you all.
You
I hope you
idiots.
pray.
You're going to be
Don't
giving out.
call them idiots.
No, you're going to be giving out literally more than you're going to win.
No,
this is awesome because
I'm gonna
Stephen
win
Price,
$200 million.
Stephen Price isn't going to cover your screw up. You're
Well,
going to be.
you know what? You know what's going to happen? My $1 Million Club is going to be cut. And there's a few people in my $1 Million Club. You guys are among them, so y'all might have to be cut out.
She's.
I have a few people that I'm going to immediately give $1 million
Have
to.
you ever looked at what the actual odds of winning the Powerball are?
Yeah, it's like me not having web toes or something like that. I don't know.
It's when we're going to go to break.
Oh, God.
Look up the odds of winning the Powerball because the odds of you winning are unchanged.
But if I have all these people now praying that our ticket wins,
Yeah.
doesn't that help my odds?
Because if God's going to listen to anything, it's going to be your request to be financially independent.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
6:56, here's Rush on Keel.
Well, here's something else to add needless tension in America. California announced that they are suing the Trump administration over sanctuary cities. San Francisco already has its own lawsuit, and Rahm Emanuel just led Chicago down the same path. Announcing the suit, California Attorney General Javier Becerra went after President Trump. He said that the president picked a wrong fight when he threatened to defund local law enforcement agencies who don't comply with federal immigration law. U.S. Attorney General Jeff Sessions is not backing down. When Chicago sued, Sessions said the Trump administration won't give away grant dollars to city governments that proudly violate the rule of law and protect criminal aliens at the expense of public safety. Sessions says this is a simple equation. They'll either comply with the law or they won't get taxpayer dollars. Now, only a fool would predict what the courts will do, especially with all the left-wing judicial activists posing as judges in the lower federal courts. But I know what they should do. State and local governments must comply with federal immigration law. The only reason sanctuary cities have operated outside the law is that nobody in the federal government had the political will to stand up to these insurgent mayors and governors. Until now. Keep your powder dry, folks. It's going to get interesting.
When it comes to cooking meals, drying clothes, heating water, and my home, nothing beats natural gas from CenterPoint Energy. It's my most affordable energy option. It costs less to use than electricity, propane, and heating oil. So if you already have natural gas, keep it. And if you're replacing an appliance, choose it.
At CenterPoint Energy, we're investing in infrastructure to help bring comfort and savings to you. Visit centerpointenergy.com/natural gas benefits to learn more. CenterPoint Energy, always there.
We cover news from Shreveport, Bossier, and your neighborhood. Breaking news and trending talk on 101.7 FM and 710 Keel. KeelNews.com. KeelNews.com.
Keeping an eye on some slow-moving traffic on North Market near Dr. Martin Luther King Drive. And we have some traffic delays on Shed Road near Swan Lake Road in Bossier City. If you have any accidents, hazards, or closures to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline, 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Today will be partly sunny with a high of 93. Clear to partly cloudy, low 78 tonight. A spotty afternoon thunderstorm for tomorrow. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm Heather Zayer.
Breaking news and trending talk. This is 101.7 FM and 710 Keel. KEEL, Shreveport.
3 past 7 o'clock, 1017 FM, 710 Keel. Robert and Erin. Local news. She looks ready.
Some bad news on the economic front today. We'll talk about that. The Education Superintendent, John White, on the hot seat today. And Bossier City wants to borrow $10 million. We'll talk about that, too.
And more on Charlottesville and Durham and the Confederate Monument there. And could it happen in New Orleans or even here?
And leave a comment on our Facebook page if you want in on our Powerball ticket.
Because you could be a lottery winner with Erin. It's destiny just waiting to happen. Fletcher sports, traffic, and weather all coming up this hour right here on Keel.
KEEL Morning Report. Now on 1017 FM and 710 KEEL.
Some bad news on the economic front today. The Times is reporting Louisiana lost out in a bid for a new auto plant, a joint venture between Toyota and Mazda. This is a $1.6 billion project that would create about 4,000 jobs. 11 states are still in the running, and Louisiana didn't make the cut. Mississippi and Texas are on the short list. Louisiana Economic Development Secretary Don Pearson did not comment, but did issue a statement saying that we can assure you that LED continues to aggressively market Louisiana in the automotive sector and other target sectors. Bessie meeting behind closed doors today to talk about the job status of Superintendent John White. Board member Kathy Edmondson of Gonzales says she would like the entire panel to vote on whether or not White should stay in the job. White says he will work until Bessie makes a decision.
That's their power under the Constitution. It's been proven in court. It's been tested in court and proven in court that they have that authority. And I'm going to keep my head down and focused on the children until they tell me to do otherwise.
White has been in the position since 2012. Some local hospitals are on alert today after a suspicious woman tried to enter 2 different maternity wards. KTBS reports a flyer was sent to the Shreveport-Bossier area maternity wards asking employees to be on the alert. The woman told Willis Knighton staff in Bossier she was 37 weeks pregnant and wanted a tour, but employees got suspicious after she asked questions regarding doctors and hospital policies. The Bossier Council looking to borrow $10 million to upgrade the CenturyLink Center. Earlier this summer, the council voted to add a $3 fee to every ticket sold. The council says the money generated by that fee increase will go towards paying back the $10 million loan. The money would go toward upgrading things like seating. The council expected to approve the bond package at their next meeting. The ACLU chastises state police. Matt Parker with that.
The ACLU of Louisiana is claiming that a Louisiana state trooper has overstepped the bounds of the law by violating the First Amendment. President Marjorie Essman says that a trooper illegally issued a public intimidation ticket when he wrote up a driver who gave him the middle finger. She says that the act was an illegal retaliation on protected free speech. Essman urges law enforcement agencies everywhere to make sure officers understand the full scope of the First Amendment. From 1017 FM and 710 KEEL, I'm Matt Parker.
House Speaker Paul Ryan says white supremacy is repulsive and is counter to all this country stands for. Ryan is the first Republican leader to comment on President Trump saying Tuesday that there is blame on both sides for the violence last weekend in Virginia. Powerball fever is growing. The jackpot for tonight is up to $430 million, the 8th largest in U.S. history. Cloudy today, the high temp close to 95 degrees. Right now, 77. I'm Erin McCarty on 1017 FM and 710 KEEL.
9 past 7 o'clock, 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Here's traffic.
The intersection of Hollywood Avenue and Mansfield Road's dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now. And we have some traffic delays on Benton Road, just north of East Texas Street in Bossier City. If you know something we don't, accidents, hazards, or closures, give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Partly sunny with a high of 93 today. Clear to partly cloudy, low 78 tonight. Clouds and sun with an afternoon thunderstorm tomorrow. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm Heather Zayer.
Uh, 11 past 7 o'clock. 101.7 FM. No, don't turn your back. No. You just turn your mic on. Let's let everybody.
Hey, Gary, this is Erin McCarty with KEEL Radio. Don gave me your number to give you a call. Give me a call back when you get a minute, please. My number is
blah, 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 because she's on her cell phone. 101.7 FM and 710 Keel. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. It's, did I say 12 after 7 o'clock?
I think so.
This has been
the most ridiculous morning ever.
See, I was going to be nice and say educational. Last 4 or 5 minutes.
I'm relentless. You all have known that for how long?
It's relentless is the word I would use. Describe, tell everyone, and Matt, feel free to chime in.
And I have no shame.
Oh, we know.
And feel free to chime in and give your 2 cents along the way. There was a story in the Times yesterday. Hang on just a second. Let me go to the page because it's pretty freaking
It's a good story.
Awesome. It was, why did Louisiana miss the cut for an auto plant? A while back, which means it's been in the works for a while, Toyota announced they were going to build, like, what was it, a $1.6 billion plant somewhere. Now, when they do plants somewhere, it's usually in the South because the unions are more, a little more amenable,
bendy,
easy to deal with, and you can get the taxes are traditionally lower, and just it works out better for everybody. Now, this plant was going to employ up to 4,000 people. And evidently, according to the Times, Louisiana has missed the cut in our pursuit of this multi-billion-dollar auto plant.
It was actually going to be a joint venture with Toyota and Mazda.
Right.
And they were looking for a site where they could operate this plant.
So what happened to Louisiana? We've got people whose sole jobs are to convince companies like this to come here.
Yes. Our dear friend, Louis, who is the State Economic Development Secretary now, Don Pearson, a Bossier guy. He's the head honcho with the LED, Louisiana Economic Development Department.
Right.
And, I mean, that's the top person in negotiating to bring companies to our community, to our state.
So how easy or difficult is it to get Mr. Pearson to chat?
Usually he's pretty willing to chat. Now, a couple of times he'll tell you to go through his PR people because he wants to make sure they know what he's doing so he doesn't get, step out of line and say something he shouldn't say.
Isn't he in charge of his own department?
Yeah, he is, but he needs to keep his communications people in the loop.
So they have to
know.
tell him, I'm puzzled.
So if someone hears him say something on KEEL and then calls...
So they basically, his PR people, they want to vet what he's going to say before he says it.
Yes, exactly.
So he's not in charge of what he says.
No, he's in charge of it. But what he did not comment to the Times, he said due to confidentiality, he couldn't comment on that specific deal. But he did say, say this: we aggressively continue to market Louisiana in the automotive sector.
Just not for this Toyota plant because
we lost the deal.
To whom have they made an announcement?
Well, 11 states are still in the running. Several Alabama, Mississippi, Texas are on that list. But there are 11 states still in the running. So I have Don's digits. And so I sent Don a text just a couple of minutes ago, and we're old pals.
You've known each other. This is
a long time.
This is one of those state and or local polls that you've known for 25 years.
A long time, yeah. I mean, last time we chatted, he sent me a picture of his grandbaby. So, I mean, I sent him a text right at 7 a.m. You up? He texted me back. Yep. And then I said, let me make sure I can read all this.
No, that's all right.
I know you can't say much, but can we chat in generalities about the auto deal?
Or lack of.
Yeah, and he said here or on the radio. And I said on the radio. And then he replied, and I'm quoting now, no new news that I am aware of. LED is continuing with attention directed to working with local elected officials and others in marketing the GM sites and other industrial sites in Northwest Louisiana. Okay, to me, that's a comment, right? I didn't take that as a no, he wouldn't do an interview.
Okay,
you guys did.
Wait. Okay, well, let's...
Well, that's because we actually pay attention to context clues.
Let me throw this little analogy out.
Okay.
Let's say that I'm Ed Orgeron.
Yeah.
And LSU has lost to Alabama 35-3.
Yeah.
Okay?
Uh-huh.
And you ask me about the game, and I say to you, looking forward to a great effort next week against Southern Miss. What would you take from my answer?
You didn't want to talk about Alabama. Okay.
Light bulb!
But wait a minute. I still don't take no for an answer. You know how I am.
Oh, you don't. You're like a bulldog.
I said, can we call you? I said we need just 5 minutes. And then I added my, this is my go-to line. Pretty please with sugar on top.
Well, that seals it.
Worked for Mike Pence.
And then he shut me down. Then he sent me the phone number for his communications director.
Which is like saying to you what?
We got to go through him. He's got to handle all my interviews.
See,
which I get it. I mean, I understand. And Don's a good guy. If you're listening, Don, we love you.
To review, Louisiana made a pitch, took a shot at a nearly $2 billion Toyota/Mazda plant coming to the USA.
4,000 jobs, folks.
And we didn't even make the first cut.
And we have a plant sitting there. It's beautiful. Have you seen it?
And we didn't make the first cut.
No. 11 states made the cut. What did we do wrong? Can someone answer that for me?
Probably his PR person, if you can get them on the phone after 9 o'clock this morning.
He's going to call me back at some point.
Yeah, sure. 17 past. Ooh, just changed. 18 past 7 o'clock. It's 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Let's see. Traffic and weather updates, Fletcher and sports. Coming up next, right here. What? You have this look of, you look perplexed.
Did I say a dirty word?
No, why?
Okay, because someone just texted me. A highfalutin just texted me and said...
A what?
A highfalutin.
I don't think you can say that.
Just texted me and said, please don't use the A word. Oh, Alabama. Oh, I get it. Oh, that's right. I thought I said a dirty word.
It's 7:18 and the wheels are coming off, baby.
Oh, yeah.
18 past... Why
no, all the wheels are in other states, Matt.
18 past 7 o'clock. Keel. Traffic up next. 19 past 7, time for traffic. Here's Ruben on KEEL.
The intersection of Hollywood Avenue and Mansfield Road's dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now. And we have some traffic delays on Benton Road, just north of East Texas Street in Bossier City. If you know something we don't, accidents, hazards, or closures, give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Partly sunny with a high of 93 today. Clear to partly cloudy, low 78 tonight. Clouds and sun with an afternoon thunderstorm tomorrow. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm Heather Zayer.
20 past 7, time for sports. Tim Fletcher right now on KEEL.
Good morning from the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger. This is Tim Fletcher on Tuesday. Philip Barbary Jr., Sam Burns, and Nathan Johnson, the trio of elite golfers hailing from Shreveport, all advance into the match play portion of the U.S. Amateur in Los Angeles. Barbary finished the 36-hole stroke play portion of the event at 2 under par and will be the 11th seed in the 64-man field of match play that gets underway today. Burns, who is set to turn pro in September, finished even par in his 2 rounds and will be the number 23 seed. Johnson shot a 69 Tuesday to ease into match play as the number 40 seed. The Houston Astros bats finally came alive at a 9-4 win over Arizona. The Astros blew the game open with a 5-run second inning. George Springer had a 2-out, 2-run double. Was driven in by Alex Bregman's triple, and he scored on a pass ball. The Texas Rangers clubbed Detroit 10-4, hitting 3 home runs, including Joey Gallo, who now has 9 home runs this month, the most in the American League, and the 23-year-old slugger has 34 already this season. Mike Napoli followed Gallo's 459-foot blast in the 4th inning with a homer of his own, and Robinson Chirinos also dialed long distance for the Rangers. From the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger, this is Tim Fletcher.
It's all different American, and in 99.9% of the cases, they're actually standing there erection solution. Okay, I had predicted as I would have counted. Okay, I had predicted as I would have counted on that.
Yes, Elvis died on this day in, what was it, 77? Is that something like that? I don't remember.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Going to be busy at Graceland. Don't they have a big event there?
I don't know.
Every year?
I don't know.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty, you're pointing what?
I want to talk to Greg Adams because GeekCon, we're in the final home stretch, and I get to hang with Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
Is that how he talks?
I don't know. I'm going to work on it. He's friends with Dr. Death.
He was.
So exactly. So I think I need to bring him the audio clip of me and Dr. Death.
On your cassette tape recorder.
No, I can digitize it. I can get one of these millennials to fix me up.
Okay,
so.
just double check it.
Yeah. But he's going to be one of the stars. This event is getting huge.
It really feels like it is. This is our 3rd year, and we've grown pretty decently every year, and now this year feels like it's going to take like some kind of step that I can't predict, and I don't know what it's going to be, but it feels like something big is about to happen.
Now, the first year we had a little over, what was it, about 11,000.
Yeah, over 10,000.
Last year, about in 3 days, 15,000, and this year is
personally to me, if this event can hit 15,000, I'm going to go to bed happy.
See, here's the deal: when you think of like GeekCon, i.e., comic books, and just you know what, for people of my generation, here's the odd thing. After golf this past Sunday, we went to Grub for lunch. And the 3 guys with me are all about my age. and I got 20 or 25 minutes of questions about GeekCon. So don't think it's just for these 18 to 24-year-olds.
No, absolutely not. And that was one of our main goals when we started this event, was to help prove to everybody just how geeky they actually are. There are a lot of people who wouldn't consider themselves a geek, but they go out of their way to make sure that their entire Sunday schedule is set so they can watch Game of Thrones, or so they can watch The Walking Dead, or they can make sure that they're out on a Thursday at midnight to see the new Star Wars premiere. All of those things are either sci-fi, medieval, George R.R. Martin novels, or based in a comic book like The Walking Dead. And if you're into that kind of stuff, you're pretty much a geek. You're pretty geeky at that point.
And let me point out that Shreveport and the Arklatex, pretty damn geeky place.
Extremely.
We reek of geek.
When
we really do.
I think we found the promo line for next year.
Well, when I first came to visit the area, I, as a geek, was looking around to see, how many comic book shops are there, how many video game stores are there, and as I'm looking around and saying, like, wow, there's a handful of comic book shops, plus there are independent game stores, plus there are the big game stores. There's a dozen geek stores at any given time in this area, which pound for pound, based on any other place, is a massive number. You don't see cities this size with that kind of geek representation in the business community. So we knew that there was something here. We just needed to give them an opportunity to come out and show it.
So who's going to be here this weekend? A list of celebrities, stars from all shades of geekdom.
Well, we're going to have Lou Ferrigno, who is the Incredible Hulk, and we got some really cool news this week because he revealed in a YouTube video that he will be voicing the Hulk in the new Thor movie, Thor Ragnarok, where the Hulk will actually speak. He's actually voiced the Hulk in all of the Avengers movies for the last few years, but it's all just been growls and yells. But this time he actually has lines, and Lou will be playing the Hulk in that.
Erin missed that out she missed out by this much, by the way.
Yeah, I had it.
She was sort of Louisiana on the Toyota plant list, but it was close.
We also have Joey Fatone, who was in NSYNC and Dancing with the Stars, Billy West from Ren and Stimpy and Futurama, Kelly Hu, who was in The Vampire Diaries, X-Men X2, The Scorpion King, Martial Law, Nash Bridges. She's got a huge resume. We have Hacksaw, like you said, WWE Hall of Famer, Sam J. Jones, who is Flash Gordon, Gil Gerard, who is Buck Rogers. We have got a Pink Power Ranger. We have the creator of the Underworld movie series. And last night we added a couple more. Vanessa Angel, who was in the movie Kingpin. She starred in that. She's on the movie poster for that. And she was also Lisa in Weird Science in the TV show in the 90s. And then we also added Eric Stolhansky, who is from the movie Super Troopers. He played Rabbit. He's also going to be in Super Troopers 2. He was in all of the Broken Lizard films. That was a huge response. 63,000 people reacted on our social media last night. So a lot of fans for the Super Troopers guys.
Where do I get tickets? I want to get them ahead of time, right?
Right now, you can get them online through Ticketmaster.com, or our website has a link to it, which is geekcon.com. They will be available at the box office. Box office will open 2 hours before the doors every day this weekend. So Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, they'll be 2 hours before doors. And Friday night's going to be huge because it's our preview night. We don't guarantee that any of the guests will be there. It's more a night for the vendors and for people to be able to shop. But this year, Lou Ferrigno has decided he would like to be there Friday night. And that's because Friday is also our military night.
Okay.
So military with a valid ID gets in free. Kids 13 and under also get in free. And then it's just a $5 ticket. The idea being that if there's a military family of 4, in all likelihood, they can come in for $5 on Friday night.
Very cool. Looking forward to it. GeekCon kicking off Friday, running through Sunday at Convention Center downtown.
28 past 7 o'clock, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Yes, we'll talk about your silly little lottery winnings.
You got to leave a comment on our Facebook page if you want in on this winning ticket.
She's going to win the lottery and walk away with $80. It'll be awesome. 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Let's do traffic right now. Erin getting ready for local news in the meantime. Traffic update. Ruben looks ready.
Keeping an eye on some slow-moving traffic on Stoner Avenue and Centenary Boulevard. And we have some traffic delays on Barksdale Boulevard and Hamilton Road in Bossier City. If you have any accidents, hazards, or closures to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Partly sunny with a high of 93 today. Clear to partly cloudy, low 78 tonight. Clouds and sun with an afternoon thunderstorm tomorrow. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm Heather Zayer.
The power of information. KEEL News now.
The Bossier City Council looking to borrow $10 million to upgrade the CenturyLink Center. Back in July, the council voted to add a $3 fee to every ticket sold at the venue. The money generated would go towards paying back the $10 million loan. The money would go toward upgrading things like seating. The council expected to approve the bond at their next meeting. Some bad news on the economic front today. The Times is reporting Louisiana lost out in a bid for a new auto plant, a joint venture between Toyota and Mazda. This is a $1.6 billion project that would create about 4,000 jobs. 11 states are still in the running. Louisiana didn't make the cut. Mississippi and Texas did. Louisiana Economic Development Secretary Don Pearson couldn't comment, but did issue a statement to KEEL News saying, "We can assure you that LED continues to aggressively market Louisiana in the automotive sector." Some local hospitals are on alert after a suspicious woman tried to enter 2 different maternity wards. KTBS reports a flyer was sent to Shreveport-Bossier area maternity wards asking workers to be on the alert. The woman told Willis Knight and staff in Bossier that she was 37 weeks pregnant and wanted to take a tour. But employees apparently got suspicious after the female asked questions regarding doctors and hospital policies. Controversial education plan gets approved. Matt Parker has an update.
Despite objections from Governor John Bel Edwards and other lawmakers, Louisiana has received federal approval of its redesigned education policy. The newly approved plan will change the way student performance is measured and the way public school letter grades are calculated. Standardized testing requirements will also be reworked under the plan. From 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, I'm Matt Parker.
The violence over a Robert E. Lee statue in Charleston, Virginia, has prompted leaders in cities and states around the country to accelerate plans to remove Confederate monuments from public property. In Gainesville, Florida, the Daughters of the Confederacy removed a statue of a Confederate soldier known as Old Joe. And in Durham, North Carolina, protesters used a rope to pull down a Confederate monument dedicated in 1924. At least one of those protesters has been arrested. The ACLU of Louisiana has sent a letter to the state police superintendent after a man got a ticket for flipping off a state trooper. Executive Director Marjorie Essman says the charge was dismissed by the state attorney who reviewed the case. Essman says while they're glad the charges were thrown out, they want to ensure state police don't infringe upon anyone else's rights.
It was a citation that never should have been issued, and to their credit, the prosecutors knew that they couldn't do anything with it, but still it shouldn't have happened. And so we just want to make sure that it doesn't happen again.
Essman says the man was ultimately charged with felony public intimidation, though again the charges were dropped. Partly cloudy, hot, 95 for the high today. Right now it is 77. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
Good morning, 735. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty, 1017 FM, 710 KEEL. You can download the KEEL app. It sounds awesome, and it is presented by Office Furniture Source. Okay, why did Louisiana, Times headline, why did Louisiana miss the cut for an auto plant? And it talks about basically we just didn't. We gave it our best shot.
Yeah.
Or did we? Do we ever give? You know, look, this is, tell me if I'm wrong about this. Evidently, the fact that we have an auto plant empty, sitting about 3 miles from where you and I are right now, means absolutely nothing to anyone anymore.
Oh, that's not true.
Really?
It means a lot to a lot of people.
Okay, but evidently something means more. Evidently there are factors other than, look, we've got an empty auto plant, partially equipped, ready to go. Evidently that doesn't mean it certainly is not a deciding factor for anyone anymore.
Yeah, I don't get that we've kind of let this slip through the cracks.
Oh, I've got a couple of ideas. Run down, okay, 11 states. One of them not Louisiana, still in the running. Do you have a list of those states?
I don't have it in front of me. I have that Mississippi, Texas,
okay,
Alabama are still on the list.
I need you to go slow. Okay, Mississippi, corporate tax rate, 5%. What was another one?
Texas,
corporate tax rate, 0.
Alabama,
6.5%.
What's Louisiana's?
8.
Please fix that. If you're listening and you have any authority,
But,
please fix that.
Erin, we're speeding toward a fiscal cliff. And already, if you listen to the people in Baton Rouge, specifically on the political left, you're allowed to keep too much of your money as is. The reason, Erin, the reason we are headed speeding toward the fiscal cliff is because you want to keep too much of your money. Because businesses, in their selfish, greedy attempt to make a profit, want to keep too much of their money. At the end of the day, every time somebody in Baton Rouge or Washington wants to raise taxes, says we're in financial trouble, we need more tax, we need to raise taxes, we need more fees. What basically they're saying is, we think you have too much of your money to spend the way you want.
You need to give more of it to us.
And we in Baton Rouge or we in Washington are so much smarter than you and so much wiser that despite the fact we have guided us toward a fiscal cliff, only by giving us more power, by giving us more of your money, can we get us out of this.
When will the political minds of the world realize that if we keep more of our money, if we lower taxes on business, more jobs are created, therefore more people have money to spend?
You know Don Pearson pretty well, right?
I do.
Louisiana Economic Development President, is that his job?
No, he's director.
Director of the LED, Louisiana Economic Development. You've known him a long time.
Secretary, I think is the title.
Sorry.
Officially.
Pretty smart guy?
Oh, absolutely.
Straight shooting guy?
Yes.
Guy knows what he's doing?
Yes.
So imagine if you're Don Pearson going into these negotiations with, in this case, Toyota, who want to build a $1.6 billion plant somewhere. And you know that your state has an 8% state corporate tax. And you've got to negotiate against Texas with 0, or Mississippi with a 6.5, or any number of states. And what you've got, well, I got an empty plant in Shreveport.
You can have the empty plant.
Got an empty plant in Shreveport.
But you pay 8%.
Sorry, pal. That's just that pony ain't.
We'll build a plant in Mississippi and pay 5%.
I'm just telling you. How do you think Don Pearson feels about that? He knows what he's up against. How do you make that pitch?
Can he not go to lawmakers and say, let's cut it for them?
How does Don Pearson pitch Louisiana against Texas?
With 0.
739, 1017 FM, 710 KEEL. Time for traffic. Ruben is rapid.
Keeping an eye on some slow-moving traffic on Stoner Avenue and Centenary Boulevard. And we have some traffic delays on Barksdale Boulevard and Hamilton Road in Bossier City. If you have any accidents, hazards, or closures to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Today will be partly sunny with a high of 93. Clear to partly cloudy, low 78 tonight. A spotty afternoon thunderstorm for tomorrow. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm Heather Zayer.
Who marched with MLK Jr. and has been a leader in the civil rights movement, ahead on the clock of what's happening, that are happening in Charlottesville, these supremacists and everything that they're about. And I was just inspired to put this on Facebook. It's been shared a whole bunch. But I said that
I'm about to give away some more money. You ready?
Oh, gosh. 1017 FM 710 Keels. Take a couple of seconds.
Yeah, I'll do that. I have bought it, my Powerball ticket. It's got 5 sets of numbers on it. I have taken a picture of it, done a little post on the website, and then I linked that onto our Facebook page. If you make a comment on our Facebook page under my Powerball post, how would you spend your Powerball winnings? If you simply make a comment like, me, I want to share, hell, I want in.
Hell, I want in.
Yeah, and this ticket wins.
Yeah.
Sounds like a winner to me.
Then anybody who's made a comment on that Facebook post between now and 9 o'clock
right.
is going to get $5,000 of my winnings. If I win the big money, the $430 million jackpot,
yeah,
anybody who's commented between now and 9 o'clock, since we put it up,
it's pretty damn generous,
is in on the winning.
This sort of
I figure it gives me more people to pray and wish and dream and hope. We kind of hope together.
Prayer works.
And you'll see our numbers. You'll know our numbers. So tomorrow morning, if these numbers hit, you'll have to hunt for me. I will actually pay off on this. Give me a minute, because I'm going to take some time to go trade this ticket in.
Believe me, they'll track you down.
Yeah, they'll find me. So good luck to us.
What was the motivation for this idea? What, you were lying there in bed in the dark at 2 in the afternoon like you normally do?
Yeah, what I've been doing lately, because I play these numbers over and over and over.
Those are your traditional...
These are my regular ticket. I hand it to her, check it, play it again. Check it, play it again. Check it. It's like Groundhog Day for me. And give me the 2 of the chocolates while I'm here. But anyway, I thought, this is not working. Let me shake this up a minute, because this jackpot tonight is the 8th largest in U.S. history. So I decided I'm going to shake it up.
Shake it up.
I'm going to get more people in on my ticket so that I hopefully will have more people praying and believing and excited about this ticket winning, and that means this ticket will win.
So basically,
tonight.
You are buying off. Basically, what you're doing is you want all the people all over Louisiana and, in fact, beyond, because the internet knows no global limits.
Share the post if you want. I don't care.
So basically, what you want them to do for $5,000 of what will be your money is pray for you. I'm
good with that.
You are buying
prayer.
You are buying prayer.
What is wrong with that, Jesus? Can I buy a little prayer?
You are buying prayer. You are prosperity gospel. You are Joel Osteen.
I am passing the plate.
Creflo Dollar and Erin McCarty.
Yeah.
I've never seen anything quite like this. This is
pretty good, isn't it?
Unbelievable.
You know what I hope happens? You know what I'm personally praying happens? That like 10,000, 20,000 people comment on this thing. Erin hits and then has to sell her house to pay everyone back. She'll be taking
then
loans.
Then you won't get any money. You're in the $1 Million Club.
You've been promising me that for 5 years now. You ain't won. So now I'm going the other way just for comedy purposes.
Google it real quick.
Yeah.
Odds of winning Powerball.
I'm scared to do that.
But you have a better chance because A, you have 5 numbers, and B, you have the power of prayer of thousands.
Yeah.
This is almost like a pilgrimage. This is this is literally, when the Pope comes out there at the Basilica, and whatever he says, and there's tens of thousands of people. Viva il Papa. It's Viva Erin. That they are praying for you in unison that you win the lottery so they can get a smidgen, a pittance of your grand prize.
The odds of winning the grand prize tonight. Yikes. We got a lot of praying to do.
Not tonight, every time.
Yeah.
The odds are the same every time.
Are they?
Yes, of course.
Even when the prize gets bigger? I'm having a moment.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the same mind that asked last week, can I see the solar eclipse at night?
I am the brains of the outfit.
There are. Do I really have to explain this to you?
No.
Okay, thank heavens.
No.
Go ahead, please.
The odds of winning the grand prize, yikesy wawa, 1 in 292 million. So wait a minute.
Yes.
The jackpot's 430 million. The odds are lower than that. Why don't I just buy 292 million tickets?
Because you don't have.
And then I'll have a definite winner.
Because you don't have close to $600 million.
But if I'm Bill Gates, why don't I just buy one of these bad
he's already
boys?
got $90 billion and he really doesn't need it. That's chump change. The lottery to Bill Gates is chump change.
Well, he could just donate all the winnings to someone,
Like
deserving
you.
like me.
Why don't you email Bill Gates?
Bill, you win. You're a definite winner tonight.
Why don't you shoot him an email, call his people? You've got about 12 hours here. In fact, close to 13 hours.
Now, you'd have to fill out all these numbers by hand. You can't do quick picks.
A long damn time.
Because you'd get duplicates.
When they have $600 million in quick picks, you think the line's going to be long? Now.
I do ask for your prayers. Comment on our Facebook page. I'm willing to share.
Because as one
292 million.
As one stands on the cliff
Jeeber wobbers.
and views the panorama, the landscape of the United States.
Yeah.
And sees political and moral disunity, that sees violence in the streets, that sees our country seeming to unravel. The one thing that you need to pray for when you get down on your knees a little bit later today is that Erin win the Powerball.
Yeah, that's true. Because I do want to go see our friend Susan Moffett and get one of those beautiful 911 turbos with the whale tail on. I want one of those cars.
With the what?
The whale tail on the back.
Oh, the spoiler.
Yeah, I love that thing. Love that thing.
Did you notice how where I went to like I tried to throw a little moral morality into the mix?
I just took the detour.
And immediately she's right back to me and what I want when I win.
But you know what I will build if I win? I'll raise my right hand. Which hand? I'll raise my right hand again.
The Erin McCarty Hospital.
I will take all the Confederate statues that towns don't want.
Yes.
And I will create a park where it can be the Confederate statue graveyard, but I will have them up. We'll salute them. Whatever people they want to come see them. I'll put them. I'll have a safe place for those statues.
There's a battlefield in Mansfield. Maybe we could put them there.
That's a good idea.
748, 1017 FM, 710 Keel traffic and weather just a couple of seconds away. And your money now. They are getting ready, and it's coming up here on Keel.
Keeping an eye on some slow-moving traffic on Stoner Avenue and Centenary Boulevard. And we have some traffic delays on Barksdale Boulevard and Hamilton Road in Bossier City. If you have any accidents, hazards, or closures to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Partly sunny with a high of 93 today. Clear to partly cloudy, low 78 tonight. Clouds and sun with an afternoon thunderstorm tomorrow. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm Heather Zayer.
Eight before 8 o'clock, KEEL Sports.
Good morning from the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger. This is Tim Fletcher on Tuesday. Philip Barbary Jr., Sam Burns, and Nathan Johnson, the trio of elite golfers hailing from Shreveport, all advance into the match play portion of the U.S. Amateur in Los Angeles. Barbary finished the 36-hole stroke play portion of the event at 2 under par and will be the 11th seed in the 64-man field of match play that gets underway today. Burns, who is set to turn pro in September, finished even par in his 2 rounds and will be the number 23 seed. Johnson shot a 69 Tuesday to ease into match play as the number 40 seed. The Houston Astros bats finally came alive at a 9-4 win over Arizona. The Astros blew the game open with a 5-run second inning. George Springer had a 2-out, 2-run double. Was driven in by Alex Bregman's triple, and he scored on a pass ball. The Texas Rangers clubbed Detroit 10-4, hitting 3 home runs, including Joey Gallo, who now has 9 home runs this month, the most in the American League, and the 23-year-old slugger has 34 already this season. Mike Napoli followed Gallo's 459-foot blast in the 4th inning with a homer of his own, and Robinson Chirinos also dialed long distance for the Rangers. From the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger, this is Tim Fletcher.
Robert J. Wright, Erin McCarty here to talk to you guys once again about our friends at Twin City Appliance online at twincityappliance.com. What they don't do, is sell appliances. No, what they do is repair major appliances, all makes and models and price points, washers and dryers, refrigerators, ice makers, ovens, ranges, cooktops, microwave ovens, compactors. The list is virtually endless.
Wolf brand appliances, the Whirlpool, the Frigidaire, any brand you've got, they can fix it. And their techs are all factory trained. If you've got something on the blink, it's making a funny noise, blah, 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 call Twin City Appliance today, 318-688-0253, or check them out online, twincityappliance.com.
To tell who dropped her copy on the floor right before this spot started, Twin City Appliance online, twincityappliance.com. 7:56. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty, 101.7 FM and 710 Keel. Okay, so at the U.S. Amateur Golf, Sam Burns and Philip Barbary and is Nathan Johnstone the third guy, all three of those fellers move on to the way they do it, there's like 1 billion guys go to the U.S. Amateur.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest amateur tournament in America, and it's this weekend.
Okay.
And let's say I think it's 100, God, it could be as many as 200, I don't know. But they play 2 days of what's medal play, i.e. stroke competition. Then the top 64 move on to match play. From the 2 days of medal play, stroke competition, the top 64 go to match play.
How many are in if the top 64 move on?
The top 64 go to match play.
But I mean, how many total?
I just said about 150 or 200. I don't know.
Okay.
I have absolutely no idea. A slew. Okay.
Man.
But 3 Shreveport guys move on into the round of 64 match play.
Ooh,
and they all play today to kick it off.
Cool.
757, 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Here's Hannity right now on Keel.
The truth and nothing but. This is the Sean Hannity Morning Minute.
The real world is you get up, you shovel your coffee down your throat, you hustle off to work, half exhausted. You end up putting it in your 16 hours a day with all the pressure that goes along with working. And when you work, you're producing goods and services for others. And when you do it, you hustle on home. You shove a little more food in your mouth. Maybe you're lucky if it's spaghetti night or pizza night. You don't have to cook at all. That's why it's so irritating. These people think they're kings and queens and that they deserve, the complexity of legislating. I'm like, shut up. Just shut up. You know what? You're so out of Go live the life of a person on food stamps, Senator. Go live the life of somebody living in poverty, Senator. Go live the life of somebody that can't find a job, Senator. Maybe you'll get your ass in gear. You know what? It's pathetic. You people are pathetic.
Keeping you on the straight path. Later today, it's the Sean Hannity Show.
Hey, everybody's got a to-do list. Drop everything off, the dry cleaning, pick up some milk. Here's an idea. Let's save hundreds of dollars on car insurance. Now, the good thing is you don't have to drop off anything or pick up anything. All you have to do is go to geico.com, and in 15 minutes, well, you can be saving 15% or more on car insurance. Maybe you need extra money in your pocket. It just may be the most rewarding thing you do today. Now, it's that easy. Save hundreds of dollars on car insurance. Just go to geico.com. Geico.com.
Finding great people to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. It's time to try ZipRecruiter, where 80% of jobs get a qualified candidate in just one day. How? Using powerful technology, ZipRecruiter matches your job to the right candidates fast. So, while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, only ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free for your free trial. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Still looking at some heavy backed up traffic on I-20 westbound. It's backed up to Airline Drive right now. And we have some traffic delays on Linwood Avenue and Hollywood Avenue. If you know something we don't, accidents, hazards, or closures, give us a call at our Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline, 687-ROAD.
7:59, here's your KeelAccuWeather.com forecast. Kind of cloudy and hazy and overcast and really humid again today in the low 90s. Right now, 78.
Breaking news and trending talk. This is 101.7 FM and 710 Keel. KEEL, Shreveport.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Today will be partly sunny with a high of 93. Clear to partly cloudy, low 78 tonight. A spotty afternoon thunderstorm for tomorrow. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm Heather Zayer.
The KEEL Morning Show. .101.7 FM.
Just jabbering away down there. Good morning, 3 past 8 o'clock. Robert and Erin, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Erin has local news, and it's just seconds away.
Some bad news on the economic front. An alert for local hospitals today. We'll talk about that. And a big Bessie meeting to talk about John White.
What if I told you that the American Civil Liberties Union, yes, the radically left ACLU, at one point in time defended Nazis' right to march? Defended the Nazis.
What if a kid doesn't want to go to Robert E. Lee High?
What if a kid doesn't want to go to BTW? I said this, we're going to have a great discussion. Once you start an inquisition, where does it stop?
I know.
Plus Fletcher in sports and traffic and weather. It's all coming up this hour, and it's here on KEEL.
The KEEL Morning Report. Now on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
Some local hospitals are on alert today after a suspicious woman tried to enter 2 different maternity wards. KTBS reports a flyer was sent to Shreveport-Bossier area maternity wards asking employees to be on the alert. The woman told Willis Knight and staff in Bossier she was 37 weeks pregnant and wanted a tour. But employees apparently got suspicious after she asked questions regarding doctors and hospital policies. CenturyLink Center wants to borrow money for an upgrade. Matt Parker with that.
The Bossier City Council is looking to borrow $10 million to upgrade the CenturyLink Center. Back in July, the council voted to add a $3 fee to each ticket sold at the venue. The council says the money generated by the fee increase will go towards paying back the $10 million loan. The money would go towards upgrading things like seating. The council is expected to approve the bond at their next meeting. From 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, I'm Matt Parker.
5 arrested on drugs and weapons charges in Marshall, Texas. The arrest followed a drug raid. The SWAT team raided a home on East Fannin Street. After searching that home, police discovered several guns and large quantities of drugs. Bessie meets behind closed doors to discuss the job status of Education Superintendent John White. Board member Kathy Edmonston of Gonzales says she would like the entire panel to vote whether or not White should stay. White appeared on Talk Louisiana to talk about the coming meeting.
I welcome any discussion of my status, any review of our results, and I'm looking forward to my evaluation.
Controversial education plan gets approved despite objections from Governor Edwards and other lawmakers. Louisiana has gotten federal approval of its redesigned education policy. The ACLU of Louisiana has sent a letter to State Police Superintendent Colonel Kevin Reeves after a man was given a ticket for flipping off a state trooper on I-20 near Rayville. Executive Director Marjorie Essman says the man was charged with felony public intimidation.
Somebody was driving and he flipped off the trooper and he was stopped and given a ticket and charged with basically like trying to incite a riot. And of course, he wasn't. And he wasn't doing anything harmful.
Essman urges law enforcement agencies everywhere to make sure officers understand the full scope of the First Amendment. Mourners gathering in Charlottesville, Virginia, to honor the woman who was killed when a car rammed into a crowd of people protesting a white nationalist rally. A memorial service for Heather Heyer is scheduled for this morning at a downtown Charlottesville theater. Congressman Mike Johnson says he wants to get a message to all of our residents.
Every teacher should start class this week, today or yesterday. They got to ensure their students, because the kids are watching all this play out on the news as well. Ensure everybody that racism and hatred like that violate the most fundamental principles of this great nation that we live in.
2 people dead following a double homicide in Ruston. Lincoln Parish deputies were called to a home by the alleged shooter, John Nichols. Deputies found Anthony and Rachel Denicola suffering from several gunshot wounds. The Denicolas were renters in Nichols' home. Police say Nichols shot the couple following allegations that he made inappropriate comments to their juvenile daughter. Crews say they've safely removed a 3-foot alligator that was found in a swimming pool at a motel at the Jersey Shore. The wayward gator was discovered at the Bayview Inn and Suites. Authorities say it's not clear where that gator came from or how it got into the pool. Partly cloudy today, high near 95 degrees, right now 75. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
Nine past 8 o'clock, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. It's time for traffic. Ruben's here.
Keeping an eye on some slow-moving traffic at the intersection of Uri Drive and East Kings Highway due to construction. And we have some traffic delays on East Texas Street near Traffic Street in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, accidents, hazards, or closures, give us a call at our Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline, 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Partly sunny with a high of 93 today. Clear to partly cloudy, low 78 tonight. Clouds and sun with an afternoon thunderstorm tomorrow. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm Heather Zayer.
I'm saying to you right now, I'll even sign. The LOC lamp, the poop lamp, the fart lamp, they are all lit and blazing brightly on the horizon. They couldn't hear me talking about
Okay,
that.
now I hope not.
No. Good morning. It's 12 past 8 o'clock. 101.7 FM. What part?
We have our little initials that we use.
There's a stop. No,
I know. I'm
there's,
not.
There's off the air stuff and there's on the air
Yeah,
stuff.
I know.
Well, your off the air stuff just bled on the air.
Yeah, it did.
And
they don't know what that is,
well,
though.
the off the air stuff isn't any less pleasant if we discussed it on the air. It's all bad, and I feel bad for being here.
12 past 8 o'clock. It's 101.7 FM, 710 Keel, Robert and Erin. Okay, so in your 7:30 newscast, you had the story about Durham, North Carolina, and a whole bunch of folks tumping over that Confederate monument, tumping it over.
Right.
And I had made the point that I had seen yesterday a number of news sources, and it happened again here. I assume this is an AP story, where they refer to the folks who toppled the statue, the Confederate monument in Durham, as protesters.
Yes.
And yet they refer to the people who defaced the Holocaust monument, the Holocaust Memorial in Baltimore, as vandals. Should they both be vandals or should they both be protesters?
They should both be vandals.
Because they both did the same thing.
You damage property, you're a vandal.
Well, read the story.
In Durham, North Carolina, protesters used a rope to pull down a Confederate monument dedicated in
Durham, North Carolina.
Vandals.
Vandals.
They've made arrests now, too, in Durham, which is a good sign.
Did you see what the Durham sheriff, it's the Durham County Sheriff, said about that?
No.
Why they didn't stop. No arrests were made initially. And hold on, I've got it right here on the phone, and I apologize. I did a whole bunch of screenshotting last night, and there was so much amazing stuff. And this is part of it. Bear with me. This is Durham County Sheriff Mike Andrews. We decided that restraint and public safety would be our priority. As sheriff, I'm not blind to the offensive conduct of some demonstrators, nor will I ignore criminal conduct. Well, he did ignore criminal conduct.
Well, I understand his point.
Wait, let me continue. My deputies showed great restraint and respect for the constitutional rights of the group, expressing their anger and disgust for recent events in our country. Wait a second. Isn't it the job of the police to protect property?
Sure.
Okay, so if the police, because they or those above them have a certain political view, what if it's your property that, well, the sheriff disagrees with you?
Mm-hmm.
Literally, the sheriff in Durham, North Carolina is saying, we chose not to defend public property because we agree with the vandals who were doing the damage.
No, that's not what they're saying. They're not saying we agree.
No, that's exactly what he says.
No, he's saying we did not want more harm to come to others.
Okay, at what point is it the job of the police to protect property?
Police stand down all the time. The Watts riots, Detroit riots, the Shreveport riot, they stood down and let people destroy property. That's sometimes a strategy by police. Because if you go in force, you can inflame things and make it worse. Police, that's a tactic they use.
Recently in Baltimore, during the riots in Baltimore, the mayor explained that the reason the police stood down, Stephanie Blake Rawlings, explained that it was up to us to understand that the duty of the police, as she explained it, was to give rioters freedom of space to destroy. Do you agree with that statement? Because it sounds to me like that's just what you said.
At some point, going in mass can cause injury, deaths.
Okay, so
that if you stand down, and I know there's going to be property destroyed when you do that, and you know that.
Let the rioters go.
Let them blow off some steam, then we'll come in and mop it up. That's a tactic, Robert. Whether we agree with it or not, that's used quite common. It was used in Baton Rouge after the death there.
Then why do we have police?
They 99% of the time they're out there working and they won't stand down. In some instances, it's a tactic they deem as the best way in that moment.
From the explanation of the Durham County Sheriff, he explains the reason that the Durham Sheriff Police people let the monument be toppled was because, quoting him again, he understands the anger of the protesters. So,
he doesn't say he agrees with them. He understands them. I understand them. I understand their anger.
Did the Nazis in Charlottesville have a First Amendment right to march?
We all do. We all have a right to march.
Do the protesters, the vandals in in Durham have a First Amendment right to destroy.
No, that's not protected speech.
And yet in both cases, the police stood down.
There are cases when you stand down. I'm trying to explain that to you.
What I'm saying is,
that's
look,
what you do sometimes.
I have an article here that talks about, and I made reference to this yesterday, and it refers back to, I made reference to a Nazi march in Skokie, Illinois, or at least the Nazis wanting to march in Skokie, Illinois in 1977. And do you know who came to their defense? Do you know who said they have a right to march and went to court defending the Nazis? The American Civil Liberties Union. The ACLU went to court defending the Nazis' right to march in Skokie.
Just got this text.
Go ahead.
Police do not have the duty under Louisiana law to protect property. Their duty is to enforce the law, not necessarily making immediate arrests.
But what if it's your property?
I get that. I understand that.
What if you're the one that the police say, well, somebody could get hurt?
Ask anybody in the Cedar Grove area. There was a lot of property damage there, and police stood down for a minute. In Baton Rouge, police stood down.
Tell you what, we'll go to break. When we come back, I want to talk more about this Skokie March in 1977 and the reasons this is an article that I found in the Huffington Post from 2009. The HuffPo is a radically left-wing, i.e. Democrat-leaning website.
Yes.
And yet, as recently as 2009, they ran an article not only recalling the Skokie controversy of 1977, but defending the ACLU for defending the First Amendment free speech rights of the Nazis.
Next step we're going to have in this is a kid who lives in the district of a school that is named Robert E. Lee High School, and the kid doesn't want to go to that school.
No, the next problem we're going to have is what's going to happen when 150 or 200 vandals show up at Jackson Square in New Orleans with spray paint and hammers and chisels and saws and start to destroy the Andrew Jackson Monument. And is Mitch Landrieu in New Orleans going to say, oh, well,
stand down?
I sympathize with their pain. You guys go ahead, do it. Yes. Will Mitch Landrieu actually defend his city's property, which the sheriff in Durham wasn't willing to do? 19 past 8, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL traffic update. Here's Ruben.
Still looking at some slow-moving traffic on I-20 westbound starting at Spring and Market. It's backed up past Benton Road right now. And we're dealing with some traffic delays on St. Vincent Avenue and West 70th Street. If you have anything to report to us, accidents, hazards, or closures, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline, 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Partly sunny with a high of 93 today. Clear to partly cloudy, low 78 tonight. Clouds and sun with an afternoon thunderstorm tomorrow. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm Heather Zayer.
Twenty-two past 8 o'clock, KEEL Sports, Fletch time.
Good morning from the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger. This is Tim Fletcher on Tuesday. Philip Barbary Jr., Sam Burns, and Nathan Johnson, the trio of elite golfers hailing from Shreveport, all advanced into the match play portion of the U.S. Amateur in Los Angeles. Barbary finished the 36-hole stroke play portion of the event at 2 under par and will be the 11th seed in the 64-man field of match play that gets underway today. Burns, who is set to turn pro in September, finished even par in his 2 rounds and will be the number 23 seed. Johnson shot a 69 Tuesday to ease into match play as the number 40 seed. The Houston Astros bats finally came alive at a 9-4 win over Arizona. The Astros blew the game open with a 5-run second inning. George Springer had a 2-out, 2-run double. Was driven in by Alex Bregman's triple, and he scored on a pass ball. The Texas Rangers clubbed Detroit 10-4, hitting 3 home runs, including Joey Gallo, who now has 9 home runs this month, the most in the American League, and the 23-year-old slugger has 34 already this season. Mike Napoli followed Gallo's 459-foot blast in the 4th inning with a homer of his own, and Robinson Chirinos also dialed long distance for the Rangers. From the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger, this is Tim Fletcher.
Like I said, kid, once you start an inquisition, where do you stop? 101.7 FM, 710 Keel, 24 past 8. And I think that's a fair question. So, look, at the end of the day, I think each community should decide what it wants to do with its own monuments. But the community in Durham didn't decide. A bunch of mobsters did. A bunch of vandals did.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think? Here's the question, and this was an article, and I made reference yesterday to a Nazi march. They wanted to march in Skokie, Illinois. This is 1977. And Skokie, Illinois, just outside of Chicago, has about 70,000 people. And around, give or take, 40,000 of them are Jewish. And the Nazis wanted to march, obviously, for one reason: to make people feel lousy, to scare people, to intimidate people. But
to rile people up, yeah.
Let's start here. In Charlottesville last weekend, and this is it's a First Amendment debate. In Charlottesville last weekend, 2 questions. Question number 1, did the white supremacists, did the Nazis have a right to march if they marched peacefully?
Mm-hmm, sure.
Question number 2, if they marched peacefully, did the Charlottesville police have a right and a duty and a responsibility to defend them against attack?
Sure. Absolutely.
What if, like in, Durham or Baltimore, what if the police determined that there were just too many and they decided to stand down?
It's a different situation when there's people involved. You will come in and move the people on and get them to safety.
An article I found, a 2009 article from Huffington Post. I think you'll agree.
What year?
2009.
Okay.
A radically left wing.
Yeah.
They lean far left.
Mm-hmm.
And it refers to the 77 Skokie March and the freedom of speech debate that took place. And I think there's no way in the world that the Huffington Post would write this article today, because I want you to sort of imagine, when we say Skokie, imagine this happening in Charlottesville, or people on the political left, even imagine someone on the political left today saying that the Nazis had a right to march in Charlottesville. The Village, meaning Skokie, the Village argued that if the Nazis were permitted to march, there would be uncontrolled violence. But is this a reason the ACLU argued for the Nazis in court? Is this a legitimate reason to suppress speech? Isn't the obligation of the government to protect the speaker and to control and punish the lawbreakers? rather than to invite those who would silence the speech to use threats of violence to achieve their ends, i.e., keep them from marching. If the village of Skokie had won on this point, then Southern communities who wanted to prosecute civil rights marchers in Selma, Montgomery, Birmingham, or elsewhere could make the same argument by saying that civil rights demonstrations would trigger uncontrolled violence. Moreover, once government, this is the best line in the whole thing. Moreover, once government gives in to such threats of violence, well, we understand their anger. We don't want to confront the vandals. Who knows what could go wrong? Once government gives in to such threats of violence, it effectively invites a heckler's veto, empowering any group of people who want to silence any other group of people to do so simply by threatening to violate the law. 28 past 8 o'clock, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Erin, local news and traffic and weather updates next on KEEL. Twenty-nine past 8 o'clock, time for traffic. Here's Rapid Ruben on KEEL.
Still looking at some slow-moving traffic on I-20 westbound starting at Spring and Market. It's backed up past Benton Road right now. And we're dealing with some traffic delays on St. Vincent Avenue and West 70th Street. If you have anything to report to us, accidents, hazards, or closures, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline, 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Partly sunny with a high of 93 today. Clear to partly cloudy, low 78 tonight. Clouds and sun with an afternoon thunderstorm tomorrow. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm Heather Zayer.
The power of information. KEEL News now.
The Bossier City Council is looking to borrow $10 million to upgrade the CenturyLink Center. Back in July, the council voted to add a $3 fee to every ticket sold at the venue. The council says the money generated by the fee increase will go towards paying back the $10 million loan. The money would go towards upgrading things like seating. The council expected to approve the bond at their next meeting. Some local hospitals are on alert today after a suspicious woman tried to enter two different maternity wards. KTBS is reporting a flyer was sent to Shreveport-Bossier area maternity wards asking employees to be on the lookout. The woman told Willis Knight and staff in Bossier she was 37 weeks pregnant and wanted a tour, but employees got suspicious after she began asking questions regarding doctors and hospital policies. 5 arrested on drug and weapons charges in Marshall. Matt Parker has that.
Brian Davis, Lewis Talley, Cecilia Davis, Gerald Talley, and Willie Brown have been arrested following a drug raid in Marshall, Texas. The Marshall SWAT team raided a home in the 1300 block of East Fannin Street early Tuesday morning. After searching the residence, police discovered multiple guns and large quantities of drugs, including methamphetamine, ecstasy, cocaine, Xanax, and marijuana. The raid was a part of an ongoing narcotics investigation. From 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, I'm Matt Parker.
The ACLU of Louisiana has sent a letter to the state police superintendent after a man was given a ticket for flipping off a state trooper on I-20 near Rayville. Executive Director Marjorie Essman says as rude as it may be, giving someone the finger is a First Amendment right. She hopes the letter brings attention to the issue and directs state police in their training.
It's not violence. It's not hurting anybody. And we want the Louisiana State Police to get the word out that their officers have to respect that. They don't have to like it, but they have to respect it.
Essman says the trooper illegally issued a public intimidation ticket. Controversial education plan gets approved despite objections from Governor John Bel Edwards and other lawmakers. Louisiana has gotten federal approval of its redesigned education policy. Speaking of education, Bessie members meeting behind closed doors to talk about the job status of Education Superintendent John White. Board member Kathy Edmonston of Gonzales says she would like the panel to vote whether or not White should stay. Edmondson has had public disagreements with the superintendent, especially on White's support for Common Core. White says he welcomes an evaluation.
Bessie is a board of elected and to some extent appointed individuals. They're going to weigh in on my performance. I think they're going to do so honestly and with integrity. I'm going to keep working for them until they tell me not to.
President Donald Trump is defiantly blaming both sides for the weekend violence between white supremacists and counter-demonstrators in Virginia and rebuffing the widespread criticism of his handling of the emotionally charged protests. Trump spoke to reporters yesterday in the lobby of his Manhattan skyscraper. The fight over gay rights continues in Louisiana over the constitutionality of an order aimed at protecting LGBT rights in state government. Fox's Tanya J. Powers with that.
Louisiana Governor John Bel Edwards, a Democrat, is hoping a 3-judge panel will reinstate his executive order banning discrimination in government and state contracts based on sexual orientation and gender identity. The state's Republican Attorney General Jeff Landry challenged the order, saying it was executive overreach, unconstitutional, and tried to circumvent state lawmakers. Last year, a district court judge ruled that the Edwards order violated Louisiana's constitutional separation of powers and blocked its enforcement. Tanya J. Powers, Fox News.
New Orleans has made the watch list for the world's biggest sporting event, but game day is a long way off, 9 years to be exact. The city is one of 44 being considered as one of 12 host sites for the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Partly cloudy today, the high temp near 95, right now 77. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
.836 Robert and Erin, 101.7 FM 710 KEEL. Shreveport Security Systems text line is 318-392-1884. From said text line, I have to rethink my use as a I have to rethink my use of KEEL. I can't be linked to Nazi sympathizers. I assume they mean me.
Yeah, they do.
Okay, let me just ask a few questions. Do you agree with the ACLU, at least in 1977? And as recently as written in the Huffington Post at 2009, because that was written by one of the ACLU lawyers from 1977. Do you agree that the Nazis and the white supremacists have a First Amendment right to peacefully march and speak?
Of course.
Okay. Question number 2. If you
Do I wish they wouldn't? Absolutely.
Do you believe that law enforcement has a duty, if they are peacefully marching, to protect them from other groups?
I'm sorry to say, but yes, they do have that duty.
Okay. If you think that for whatever reason you want to think it for, that the Confederate monuments should not come down, does that make you a white supremacist and a Nazi sympathizer? I'll ask that again. If you think that Confederate monuments should stay up, for whatever reason, you get to decide. Does that make you a Nazi sympathizer?
No,
okay.
no.
Because I read an article last night, Condoleezza Rice, former Congressman Alan West, that would make them Nazi sympathizers and white supremacists. At what point, and back to my first question in the very first segment this morning, when you start an inquisition, where do you stop it?
For you to compare Booker T. Washington,
no, I didn't say
to
that
Robert E. Lee.
That's not what I said.
That's not the. When I said if a kid says he doesn't want to go to Robert E. Lee High School,
yes,
and that's the school district he lives in, and then you said, well, what if he doesn't want to go to Booker T. Washington High?
My point.
Robert E. Lee's objection is because Matt made a good point. He was considered a traitor. He was considered a slave owner. He was considered someone who protected slavery, fought for slavery. Booker T. Washington, people can't say
wait,
he had any bad. He did good things.
In 21st century America, you're 100% right.
Mm-hmm.
In 21st century America, we live in a zeitgeist, in a culture where the offended get to decide what is offensive.
You bet.
And so, if a black kid, for reasons of conscience, doesn't want to go to Robert E. Lee High School, is a white kid who doesn't want to go to a black school named for a school named for someone black, is that any less legitimate to that person? Remember now, 21st century trans America.
Yeah.
Where the offended decide what is offensive.
Mm-hmm. I know.
Where the people who are offended decide what is hate speech.
Well.
Where literally there are people right now who would say that Condoleezza Rice and Alan West are white supremacists. That the ACLU is sympathetic to Nazis.
Any of the Citizens Advisory Committee members who voted to keep our Confederate monument in front of the courthouse, they're Nazi sympathizers, is what they're saying.
According to Antifa.
That's
according to
complete BS.
According to Black Lives Matter.
Yeah.
According to Occupy.
BS.
Robert J. Wright, Erin McCarty, 839.
I'm giving, I'm sharing, I'm loving. You want in on my Powerball ticket? All you have to do is comment on our Facebook page.
1017 FM, 710 Keel. She'll explain next. Traffic right now. Here's Ruben.
Still looking at some slow-moving traffic on I-20 westbound starting at Spring and Market. It's backed up past Benton Road right now. And we're dealing with some traffic delays on St. Vincent Avenue and West 70th Street. If you have anything to report to us, accidents, hazards, or closures, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline, 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Partly sunny with a high of 93 today. Clear to partly cloudy, low 78 tonight. Clouds and sun with an afternoon thunderstorm tomorrow. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm Heather Zayer.
842 1017 FM 710 Keel. So you think that text is foolish? You think
that's ridiculous?
May I read it?
Go ahead, but it's ridiculous.
Martin Luther King Jr. had multiple affairs. Should women insist that everything with his name be changed because they are offended by his philandering?
Then we'd pretty much have no street names with men names on them.
Now you're getting the point. Eureka, the light bulb goes off. When you start an inquisition, where does it stop?
Oh, my gosh.
See, you figured it out.
That's
When you
ridiculous.
start an inquisition, where...
I just painted all men with a really broad brush. I apologize.
No. That's
to the men who don't cheat.
No, that was awesome. When you paint with a broad brush, who among... Let those of us without sin cast the first stone.
Yes, I know.
Okay, so you've decided you want to talk about...
This is a big night.
Okay, go ahead.
This is the 8th largest Powerball jackpot in the history of the United States of America. 8th largest. $430 million. Cash payouts, $273 million, which after taxes, I'm going to take about $200 million home. I have my ticket here. I have 5 numbers. I buy these numbers every week.
Evidently, you're going to give away about $100 million of your own money.
Not quite that much. But I've taken a picture of my ticket. I've put it on our Facebook page. Just click on that little link. And if you leave a comment on our Facebook page between now and 9 o'clock, the clock is ticking on you. 9 o'clock, I'm cutting this off, baby.
Go ahead.
Everyone who's left a comment on our Facebook page this morning until 9 a.m. is going to win $5,000 if this ticket wins the big prize. Because I'm hoping all these people will pray. I'm buying your prayers is what I'm doing. I think there's no shame in that game.
There's definitely not, Pope Urban.
Just make a comment, and you could be in on this winning ticket.
You know, I've kind of told you before, and this is, I think this is important for you to remember from here on out. I've made 5 holes in 1 playing golf.
Mm-hmm.
The only 5 times, obviously all on par 3s.
Yes.
The only times that I've made holes in 1 are the 5 times that I stood on. Every time you get on a par 3, you think, I'm going to make a hole in 1 on this one. Because it's 130, 150, 160.
You can see the cup.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
5 times I haven't thought about making a hole in 1.
Dink right in.
And those 5 times, yes.
Oh, my. So what I'm gonna do tonight.
Basically,
I'm gonna put this ticket in my trunk and forget about it.
Is that a euphemism? Go ahead.
And I'm just gonna throw it in the trunk like it's trash.
And if you think about it at any point
forget about
it,
it.
You're jinxing yourself.
But I can't go shopping for condos or cars or anything like that. Just skip all that tonight.
You can't think about it.
Skip it all tonight.
You have to put it
just
out of sight, out of mind.
Get a regular old cheapo meal.
Yeah.
Watch some TV. Maybe take the dog for a walk. Go to the dog park.
If it pops into your head, you're done.
If it pops into my head, it's a loser.
Yep.
So I'm going to forget about it.
You'll
but
jinx
make
yourself.
a comment right now. We got 40+ people are helping me. They're praying. We're all going to pray that this is the winning ticket. And dear God, let's just hope there's not 10 winning tickets.
Can't believe Bishop Dukas signed up. We had an article last hour, a story. You had it in the news. It was from a Times article. Why did Louisiana miss the cut for an auto plant?
Yeah.
And it basically, and you tried to track down Don Pearson.
I did track him down.
With Louisiana Economic Development. It's a $1.6 billion Toyota/Mazda plant. And we
How
had...
did we miss this?
Well, we had compared state corporate taxes. Louisiana's is 8. Mississippi is either... Mississippi, they're still in the running, either 5.6 or 6.5. Texas is 0. And we got a lot of texts on the Shreveport Security Systems text line. Stuff like, well, you know, the state can negotiate a tax rate with companies.
Sure.
There's a federal deduction for all this kind of stuff. But the point being, there is this. When you're starting at 8.5... and or 8.0 like Louisiana.
Right.
And your Texas is starting at 0.
Texas has a head start.
Somebody's got 1 foot on the banana peel.
Yeah, it's like the tortoise and the hare.
And it ain't Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so then we had the Shreveport gets a D story.
Yeah.
How much of this do you want to cover? Because this is kind of, this is in your area of expertise, and, well, you do what you want to do.
Well, I got the story for the legislative audit report is up, and they release those, every week they put some new reports up, and it gives Shreveport a D on this particular audit report. But it really needs to be clarified just a little bit, because if there's any fraud in this particular time frame when they did an audit, if there's any kind of fraud or crime, criminal activity, then that automatically qualifies you for a D. Well, we had an employee at the Convention Center Hotel who was a subcontractor, not a city employee.
$9,000 thing.
It was a $9,000 theft.
And we had actually made the point, well, it's only nine. I mean, it was just $9,000 in the scheme of, and it was dealt with, and that person was fired. And we said, so, like, what's the deal?
That person's gone, has been arrested. So the city wanted to make that clear, that the audit came back with the D notation, simply because anything that has a case like that in it automatically gets a D notation.
So literally, somebody steals like $50 or $100 or $1,000 or whatever.
I think it's got to be a felony, which is 500 plus.
Okay, so you automatically get a D.
Automatically,
if somebody part-time, like in this case. Wow.
Yeah. So there were lots of improvements shown in the audit. They are improving and making tighter restrictions. So that is good news. I saw bad news, though, in the sales tax revenues. We're down $2.5 million from 2015 numbers.
849, it's 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Your Money Now is coming up next. Right now, Ruben's here, traffic time.
Still looking at some slow-moving traffic on I-20 westbound starting at Spring and Market. It's backed up past Benton Road right now. And we're dealing with some traffic delays on St. Vincent Avenue and West 70th Street. If you have anything to report to us, accidents, hazards, or closures, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline, 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Partly sunny with a high of 93 today. Clear to partly cloudy, low 78 tonight. Clouds and sun with an afternoon thunderstorm tomorrow. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm Heather Zayer.
The place for breaking news and trending talk is 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. KEELnews.com.
Good morning, it's 8:52, 8 from 9 o'clock. It's time for sports. Here's Fletch.
Good morning from the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger. This is Tim Fletcher on Tuesday. Philip Barbary Jr., Sam Burns, and Nathan Johnson, the trio of elite golfers hailing from Shreveport, all advance into the match play portion of the U.S. Amateur in Los Angeles. Barbary finished the 36-hole stroke play portion of the event at 2 under par and will be the 11th seed in the 64-man field of match play that gets underway today. Burns, who is set to turn pro in September, finished even par in his 2 rounds and will be the number 23 seed. Johnson shot a 69 Tuesday to ease into match play as the number 40 seed. The Houston Astros bats finally came alive at a 9-4 win over Arizona. The Astros blew the game open with a 5-run second inning. George Springer had a 2-out, 2-run double. Was driven in by Alex Bregman's triple, and he scored on a pass ball. The Texas Rangers clubbed Detroit 10-4, hitting 3 home runs, including Joey Gallo, who now has 9 home runs this month, the most in the American League, and the 23-year-old slugger has 34 already this season. Mike Napoli followed Gallo's 459-foot blast in the 4th inning with a homer of his own, and Robinson Chirinos also dialed long distance for the Rangers. From the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger, this is Tim Fletcher.
Just won $1 million.
You did.
Just won me $1 million.
Wow.
I'm pretty awesome.
You worried me there for a minute, though.
Why? What?
Because you said if you miss this little shot, he throws his water bottle into our garbage can here, and if he makes it, he wins. If he misses, and this time he bet the $1 million I'm going to give him from my Powerball ticket. $2 million if I make it, he said, and if I miss it, give my $1 million to a charity.
I said at the St. Vincent de Paul Society.
Yeah. And I was like, I'll do that, but I'll feel bad because I'll be giving other people $1 million and you would get 0. I'd be like, wow.
I swished it.
And he swished it, so he got $2 million.
I just want to take a moment to congratulate you on doubling up your imaginary money that you'll never see. Great job, Bob. Great job, kid.
I just got 2 times 0.
4 minutes left to comment on our Facebook page if you want to in on our Powerball winning ticket.
If you want an imaginary $5,000 you'll never see,
if the
go to our
ticket
Facebook
wins,
page.
Everybody that's commented on Facebook will get $5,000.
The astonishing thing is about 300 or 400 people have.
People are loving it.
Back tomorrow morning, 6 till 9. Robert and Erin, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Here's Kim Commando.
It was refreshing to see GoDaddy and Google refuse to do business with the Charlottesville neo-Nazis by kicking their horrendous website off its servers. GoFundMe shut down fund drives for the car-ramming suspect. The big question is, will this be the tipping point that finally leads America's tech companies toward responsible corporate citizenship? Kim Commando with your Wednesday Digital Consumer Tech Update. For years, the big tech companies, Facebook, Twitter, and Google, have allowed terrorists, racists, and pedophiles to run rampant on their sites. Lawsuits against tech media claiming that they turned a blind eye towards ISIS and the San Bernardino terrorists are still active. The British press exposed pedophiles using secret forums on Facebook. And over time, the response to all this outrage has been lethargic at best, with endless claims that their online moderators are simply overwhelmed. The answer is, of course, is to hire more moderators. And Charlottesville shows us what they can do when they want to. Get all the tech news updated all the time at news.komando.com. That's KOMANDO. It's that time of year again. Yeah, you know, back to school. And if you have kids, I bet you've already printed out their school supply list. And how did it print? Are you running low on ink? Well, instead of buying another ink cartridge, add the Epson EcoTank 4550 wireless all-in-one printer to your school supply list. This awesome printer has a huge refillable ink tank, and that means cartridge-free printing. This printer comes with enough ink right in the box to print up to 2 years, or get this, 8,500 pages without having to buy new ink. Think of how many school projects and supply lists you can print. We use the Epson EcoTank here at my show. Seriously, the ink tank is so huge that we haven't even had to refill it yet. Could you imagine that? You really need to check out the Epson EcoTank 4550. Learn more right now by going to epson.com/ecotank. That's epson.com/ecotank. Epson, exceed your vision.
101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. And thanks to Jack Spring Electric, we have the new Shockbuster button. If Erin says something crazy,
I'd kiss a stranger for a ribeye.
we'll zapper. It's our 7-second delay, just in case. It's the Jack Spring Electric Shockbuster button on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
Still looking at some slow-moving traffic on I-20 westbound starting at Spring and Market. It's backed up past Benton Road right now. And we're dealing with some traffic delays on St. Vincent Avenue and West 70th Street. If you have anything to report to us, accidents, hazards, or closures, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline, 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Partly sunny with a high of 93 today. Clear to partly cloudy, low 70.